Hello, welcome to episode 25 of Sheepdog Says. I've done a quarter of a century now. I'm still loving it. I considered doing some sort of April Fool's episode where I said, nah, I'm not going to do any more. I've given it up. This sucks, whatever. But A, I didn't think it'd be particularly funny and that many people would care. B, I missed the cut-off point of 12 o'clock. I think that's a rule, isn't it, on April Fool's Day? Don't you get executed if it's after 12? Or am I just misremembering history? It's been quite a fun weekend. I was at my sister's over the weekend and I was a bit nervous that I'd get pranked because growing up, my dad would always leave little bits around the house, like he'd stuff our shoes with paper, which, nothing too outrageous, but something that was just become a bit of a tradition for us. I always considered doing things like the plastic over the toilet bowl and things like that, but never actually went through with it. But no, I think I got away unscathed. I haven't noticed anything yet that they've done. I've read quite a few today though, and it's been quite entertaining just seeing the little ones pop up. I don't know. Just to kick off, I'm sure everyone saw yesterday and today they released an 8-bit update for Pokemon Go, so the whole game was 8-bit. Where all the avatars and stuff were. They said that was the new fantastic way they were going to do the game with twice as many graphics as what they had before and all of this, which was made me sort of laugh. I kind of felt like they went to a lot of effort for a all right, cool kind of gag. But there's people out there now who want that to be the permanent setting and stuff like that. So it's kind of worked out, I suppose. We wondered in a chat I'm in whether they actually did it as a way to save on server load, like just change all the artwork to low res, sort of low quality 8-bit pictures, and that somehow might help them just make the game load quicker. I don't know. It didn't really make much sense, but it could have been the reason. I saw a great one from Coca-Cola where they announced they're releasing new Coke Zero avocado, coal, and sourdough versions. I briefly saw that and didn't think anything of it. I just kind of thought, I don't really remember what avocado tastes like. When I read stuff like this, I kind of think to myself, I guess I got to try it, and if I like it, great. If I don't, I don't. But then later on I saw it again and realised the headline was like, calling all millennials who love Instagram, we've made drinks that you'll love to take pictures of. And my first thought was, that's not... No advertiser in the world just announces calling all millennials, I've got something for you to talk about on Instagram. And then when I actually looked at it, I thought, hang on a minute, this is ridiculous. And yeah, I think April Fool's Day is a bit one of those ones where it'll catch you off guard just because you don't care. Like, I didn't care enough to think that's outrageous or that's something that's disgusting or I really want that. I just thought, meh. Whereas in the past, I've been caught out. I remember being at work and somebody showed me the newspaper and it said that Peterborough United had reached a deal with Victoria Beckham on the name posh.com, because that's their website, posh.com. You go there to buy your tickets and whatnot. And it said in the agreement they'd agreed to sell it to her for £1 million, plus David Beckham was going to play for Peterborough United for like 6 games or something silly. And I read this article on the back page of the local Telegraph, and I text my wife saying, "You're not going to believe this." And she's like, "Really?" And like, she was skeptical off the bat, whereas I was just like, it's in the paper. Like, I'm reading the article now, yeah. I guess the website is part of a bigger plan. I'm thinking to myself, like, they must be making a lot of money out of it. I reckon they're probably thinking, flog that, get him in for a couple of games. It'll pay for loads of shirts or whatever. We'll be famous. This is the same club that ended up on Sky doing this manager's in charge of our club for a couple of days. He's gonna turn us around, and they got a new chairman out of it, and their fortunes were completely changed. So I just thought it was completely plausible, which made it an awesome April Fool's gag that I completely fell for. And when I realised it was a gag, I felt like an absolute chump. I also saw a great one earlier. It was that Chelsea Football Club are going to move into West Ham Stadium because they're going to get relegated and don't need it anymore, and they were going to crowd share with somebody else. And again, it was like, I knew the second I read the headline that it must be a joke, but read through it thinking this would have got it was quite well written. It would have got a few West Ham and Chelsea fans because it was saying that they'd seen it as the perfect opportunity to move the club to London, London Stadium, get rid of West Ham, move them in with Fulham, and just kind of tidy everything up. And it was only right at the end that they kind of started making a farce of it. And I just thought that's again a plausible but clever football related one. I made a note of a couple that my wife had mentioned to me. She got one come through saying that all social workers were going to be forced to do a writing test to do 100 words per minute, otherwise they wouldn't be allowed to do the job anymore. When she read it out, my first thought was that might be the reverse. That might actually not be an April Fool, because 100 words a minute isn't that hard. Like, I think I can do that. I'm sure I've done tests that say I type faster, but it was apparently an April Fool's. I was kind of like, it's not the most funny, but it's one of those where it got sent to her as a social worker, and she was just like, I hope that's not true. There was one that went out that said the first meme in history had been discovered from a Victorian archive from Queen Victoria that was just two Victorian gentlemen with the word "whence" written beneath them. I thought that was pretty awesome because, again, it was clear it was fake, but it was awesome that it was there. It was awesome that they'd kind of made a gag out of it. That's the sort of thing that, again, any other day you'd be like, oh, right, cool, the first ever meme, I can't believe it, I disappointed that not enough games did them this year. So I play Tapped Out every year, and normally they do loads of good gags. I haven't been on Football Manager today, but that normally does a good gag where it says you've been taken over or you've been given a budget of like billions or whatever. But I went on DC Legends, and they just had a DC character called Chemo that's just a load of chemicals in a suit, and he just throws acid at people and stuff. And I think he just sort of says, duh, 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 duh. That's how he sort of makes noise. He doesn't speak. And when you went on their bit to get power-ups, all you had was just loads and loads of them to press. And I thought that was quite... When you pressed them, you got a bit... Because you have to collect, like, badges for each character, and if you get the right amount, you power them up. So if you clicked him, you got badges for him, but you also got really good rewards. So it's like you had to spend slightly, but you got way more back. So that was kind of like it wasn't really a trick. If you went with the joke, it was good. So it came out really well. But I was looking for all my other games then, just trying to find any other bits and bobs that might have had an Easter egg in it. Sometimes you do it. Like if you go on Arkham Knight at Halloween, there's a whole Man-Bat mission that you can only get on that day at that time kind of thing. And, I feel like I probably missed a lot by not looking around and seeing what else was about. I'm just running down my list. I think that was all the ones I made a note of. But no, I think that it's hit and miss each year. I remember there being a year where, again, I almost fell for it. I had read it a couple of times before I realised it was definitely a joke, that Polo were going to sell the holes separately as a product. And then they actually did a few years later. That led me to trying to convince... I had a student who was trying to do his business studies project for his A-levels, and he needed a business plan, and he was saying he wanted to open some sort of shop or whatever, and he was like, what could I sell? And I was like, hear me out, I've got an idea, but you're going to have to go with me on it. And he's looking at me, and I'm like, right, you should sell the holes from bagels. And he's just like, what? And I'm like, well, just like, the story is you'll make a bagel and then poke the hole out, throw the bagel away and sell what's left. But in reality, you'll just sell circles of dough. And he was like, why would anyone buy that? And I said, well, because you're marketing it as bagel holes. They're smaller, they taste good. They're like the nice little equivalent of a bagel. Low calories because you're not eating a whole bagel. You can just get a bag of them and eat them. And his mate next to him's going like, this is the best idea ever. We need to do this. We're going to be millionaires. And he's like... I suppose it would work. And he's like walking me through it, and he's there's this girl next to him going like, but wouldn't it be a waste to cut the hole out? And everyone's like, we're not going to make the bagel, we're just going to make the hole. And I'm saying to him, you do different flavours, you could do savoury and sweet. And we spent ages on this, helping him basically write this plan out. And I kept saying to him, when you're a millionaire from selling bagel holes, you need to give me money. I did look when I got home. I suddenly thought, is this a thing that might already exist? And oddly, I mean, you might, I'm putting this on the internet, so you might correct me instantly, but I'd found one company in like New York, a bagel shop that had on its menu bagel holes, and you could buy little balls of dough. At the time, that it wasn't. This would have been 4 years ago now. It wasn't a thing anywhere else. So I imagine since then, because it was out there in the internet, in the world or whatever, it's probably been done to death. But at that moment, he thought I was king of the world. I had just stolen it from an April Fool's joke that I'd read in like the late 90s, before they actually did sell the holes to polos. But I'm hoping, in the back of my mind, I'm hoping. I never saw him because I left like before he. Well, I didn't see, he left, sorry, because it was A-levels. I never caught up with him to find out whether he wrote out his business plan and delivered it as a project. And, you know, if he did and he got a good grade, then awesome. If he still owes me if he's a millionaire. If you ever see him being sold around the Peterborough / East of England / England area, introduce me to the man selling him, because if it's him, he owes me a lot of money. But I kind of wish I had done it as well now. Where else could I sell the whole from? I don't know. Donuts is too close. I'm going to think about this all night now. It's going to do my head in. Anyway, happy April Fool's Day. I hope you had a good one. Let me know of any pranks that you got pulled on you, or pranks that you pulled on other people. So many times I thought about doing ones. I was this close to texting my mum a picture of one of the ultrasounds from one of my kids, telling her that we'd had another baby on the way. But I kept thinking, like, she wouldn't do this, but what if she responded going, "Oh God, haven't you had enough? Like, you know, you really, you know, I just what if she just said something really wrong and annoyed me, or got really excited and then I had to tell her it was a joke, I'd feel really bad." I've just remembered another one that someone I used to work with told me, that her mum asked her to read out the lottery numbers, and she was standing behind her mum looking on her phone, but reading her mum's lottery ticket out to her. So she's like 4, 18, 16, I don't know why it's in the wrong order, 24, 36, 48, and her mum's like, "Oh my God, ah!" You know, and she finished reading it, and she's just there like, and I just thought, if anyone did that to me, it'd be like that scene from 300 where they kick him into the pit. I'd just be like, ugh, out the window you go. I wouldn't be able to handle that. That's probably the worst thing, because my brain would be running so quickly. It'd just be like, goodbye house, goodbye whatever, you know, I don't have to do that anymore. I'd be just, I think by the time they told me they were joking, I'd already be dousing my house with petrol, thinking, I don't need this anymore, I'm free. I don't know why I'd burn the place down. I don't think I would, but yeah, I'd just be gone. And yeah, don't ever play that trick on me. That'd be horrific. But anyway, yeah, let me know what happened to you. Give me any good ones you heard. What's the best one you've heard on the internet today? Because my ones, I don't think they're the funniest I've heard. They're not as good as some of the ones like David Beckham and that. I don't really remember any from last year. Oh, I do remember the one show doing one where they said that they'd discovered that unicorns did exist and they were distant relatives to the rhino. And I sat watching that in fascination, thinking that nature, history and science was awesome, and then realised it was clearly a joke, and it was clearly nonsense. Because they were saying they'd basically got the DNA from a rhino and they'd kind of messed with it and, you know, reactivated the old parts from history. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't know, it was just pseudoscience nonsense, but I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. I can't believe what an age to be alive. They brought the unicorn back. I feel like such a moron even saying it. But I don't know. I'm a little bit more trusting when it sounds plausible. But I don't, even thinking that back, it doesn't sound plausible. I find the clip on YouTube, watch it. Actually, don't, in case it's really embarrassing. But if you watch it, and if it's not really embarrassing and quite plausible, then you can talk to me about it. But if it's absolutely farcical, then don't bring it to me, because it'll break my heart knowing that I was that dumb. Although if you've seen the tin opener video from the other day, I am that dumb. So yeah, anyway, I've tried to end this 3 times now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. I'll see you tomorrow. It's Bank Holiday Monday. I think we're going to nip to Toys R Us and see what we can pick from there. I'm doing Pokemon questing. I'm on like quest 4, I think now. It's getting harder, but it's good. Some of my mates have already got Mew. Yeah. I've got some videos I want to plan. I'm planning with Lamb Pup. She wants me to start doing challenges. She asked me if I'd start eating baby food on a challenge if I was blindfolded, and she just fed me one and I had to guess what it was and just generally react to how disgusting it was. But the smallest part of me is wary of doing that, because I know I'll end up liking all of them, and then I'll end up wanting to eat baby food. And I don't really want to become that kind of man. I don't want you to all witness it on video. Just me going, I really like that banana splurt, or whatever it's called. Don't call it that. Anyway, have a good evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.